Yes, here we are, as I say always, Palatial Palace up here. Where is this? Is it Finton?
Walton on the Naze.
Walton on the Naze. Walton
Yes.
on the Naze, yeah, fantastic. For those of you who don't really know, it's Essex. Fantastic round here. Loads of people from Essex
Yes.
do drag racing, cars and everything else. So I'm very happy to be with John Cohen today. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Wonderful coffee. So, yeah, we sort of, with your son Lee, we
Yep.
sort of pass every now and then, sometimes in curry places and things like that.
Yes. Quite regular.
Quite regular. So, your history with cars
Yeah.
has been sort of kit building, obviously model kits, but also kit building cars.
Yeah. Model kits is where it started.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely. Yeah. So how did you get into cars in the first place? Was it hobby or was it, mechanical?
Yeah. Hobby.
Yeah.
Hobby. I've always loved the cars.
Yeah.
As I say to many people, if it's got wheels, I'll follow it.
Right. Okay.
When I was obviously younger, at work, just started work, I used to make model kits, the old Airfix ones, which is pretty much all you could get at the time.
At the time, yeah.
And then as we got on, progressed, we found a few good, decent model shops in the East End of London, which we could buy these American kits.
Yeah.
And I suppose that really is what kicked me into loving these big, powerful cars.
Yeah.
So I'd already bought Anglias. I'd done a couple of Ford Anglias with the 1500 GT engines, bubble arches, lowered, my type of custom paint jobs, and just progressed from there. As I said to you earlier, over the years I've done different cars, Morris Minor, tuned one of them up, Cortinas, Anglias, Escorts. Been through all the range of the old good ones. If I kept them now, I'd be
Well,
well
the
happy.
Escorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're worth a few bob now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, as I say, it progressed through till 1999, when circumstances in life changed, made life a bit easier for us. I contemplated building a real car.
Yeah.
Lee and I went down to Pilgrim in Brighton.
Yeah.
And pulled up there. I'd made the arrangements to go and have a test drive. When we pulled up and I walked in to the factory unit, and Dennis Tanner was in there. He was the one that originally started Pilgrim. And I said I'd come for a test drive, and he literally threw me the keys and said, "The car's over there, off you go." And which was amazing.
Mm.
And that was a V6 one.
Yeah.
Built with a V6, which I thought was amazing. Drove lovely, and decided to order one.
Yeah.
I ordered it. I'm just trying to think. I can't remember now how long it
Say, what's the build time on those?
Build time really depends on how often you work on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they reckon 700 hours.
Right.
But obviously mine took me 2.5 years building, because I was only doing it at weekends.
Yeah.
Plus I was working, saving, buying bits, working, saving, buying bits,
Yeah.
and that's how we did it.
Yeah.
I ordered all the chassis and everything first. Got it to a rolling chassis, then decided what engine I was going to put in it, which turned out to be a 305 Chevy with an auto box, because that's how it came.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what engine you wanted to put in one of them, because they made the engine mounts to suit it when you were ready.
Pre-built. Yeah.
So you got bare chassis, and then they made brackets that you fitted on yourself, which was handy. Built that, took me 2.5 years, got that through. At the time, the SVA test, which was at Chelmsford.
Yeah.
We drove down to Chelmsford in it. Lee followed me, and we failed on the first test, as everybody does. Speedo, noise, wasn't no emissions then.
No.
So it's basically speedo noise, and one of the rear brakes didn't come on as quick as the other ones, which I didn't know about. So got it home, did that, got it rebooked in, took it back, passed, and then I had that on the road for 6 years.
Amazing.
Done about 1,000 miles in it, which wasn't a lot.
No.
But then I only took it out at weekends, to be truthful. So I was working anyway through the week. And then when I sold that, I sold it to a guy that was having a midlife crisis. I spoke to him, he phoned me up, I advertised it on Pistonheads, and spoke to him about it. He said, I'd like to come and see the car. So he said, like, where are you? So at the time I was Clacton. He said, we're in Wales. I said, well, it's a bit of a journey, and he said, hold on. He said, give me 10 minutes and I'll get back to you. As the old saying goes, never hear from him again.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did. He phoned me back in 10 minutes, true to his word. Said, you've got an airfield in Clacton, haven't you? So I said, yeah. He said, we'll fly down over the weekend. As everybody does, you jump in an aeroplane and fly down.
Yeah, yes.
Somewhere,
Yes, one would.
Yeah. And he said, he actually said to me, I'm having a bit of a midlife crisis. He said, I've just bought a Harley. He said, I'm 40 years old and I've always wanted a Cobra. So I drove down to the airport, waited for his plane to go over, and as he come over, he rolled the plane, landed, he rolled to the far end of the airfield. Now, we're in the car park down by the main road, and he literally ran from the aeroplane to me. And we were just general chatting about it, and I said, well, get in and I'll take you for a test. He said, I'm not a good passenger, I'll tell you that. So we got going, and he said, well, go on then. He said, open it up. So as we're going down the road, opened it up. He went, how much did you want for it? So at the time it was 17.5 grand. So I said, I've got £1,000 with me. He said, I'll give you that as soon as we get back out my briefcase. He said, the rest of the money will be in your account by the end of the week. And with that, he arranged for a covered-in trailer to come and get it. And he transported the car from Clacton to Birmingham NEC, which is where he got down to, picked the car up from Birmingham NEC. But he wanted to do it at the NEC so he could drive round and get used to it. And then he drove it home. And I only ever heard from him once more after that, was what oil do I use?
Yeah.
So that was that. Then, as I say, I went on to some of the cars I'd always wanted. Audi TT, TVR, Nissan 350Z. That led me through to about 2015, sorry. And I got the bug again to build another car. So we went down up to Tornado GT40 in Kidderminster. Lee again came with me. And we did the deal and we ordered one. And I ordered that in June 15 and I didn't get the kit until December 15. 2 days before Christmas we went up and got it. In Lee's truck, which he ran his dragster around in.
Yeah.
So we got up there in that. On the way home we lost the clutch in the lorry. So we had a bit of fun getting home with that. Then that was the bare chassis and a few parts and bits and pieces. Then I had to order the body shell, and again later in the year, that next year on, we went up to collect the body shell and loads of other bits and pieces, and we had a blowout. We had all good fun, these cars and lorries. Had a blowout on the M1, so that delayed us. We went up and got that. Finally got back home 10 o'clock in the evening, I think it was, and we'd left at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it was a bit of a long day. Got home, started building it over Christmas. Getting the body on, doing this, doing that, fitting this up, fitting that up. I built the engine myself with it was a 302 Ford. Renault gearbox, which not Pilgrim, can't think of the name of them now, Tornado supplied. Got that all up and running and literally just carried on building. But I'd actually built that one, the GT40, because I wanted to.
Yeah. What sort of lump do you have in that?
302 Ford V8, 5 litre. Again, I built that as well because that was a bare engine when I bought that. So I built that, aluminium heads on it and everything, you know, big valves. Did all that. Decided to sell that. Sold that, good money. And with the money I got for that, I basically put a lump in the pension pot and went up to AK at Peterborough and ordered another Cobra. But at that time, I'd got the money to order the whole thing.
Wow.
So I basically went up there, we both went up there, Diane came with me this time, and I basically said to him, yeah, I want one, put it in a box and deliver it, which is what they did. And it arrived about 6 weeks later, most of it.
And then you put it together.
And then I put it together. Again, I bought a 351 Windsor engine for that, bare engine. Again, I stripped and rebuilt that completely. Aluminium heads again, cam, bearings, rings, you name it. I rebuilt it, put it in there. Then I ordered a brand new T5 gearbox, Trimec T5 gearbox, bell housing, flywheel. Again, all from the suppliers that AK give you the numbers of.
Yeah, so you have to go and build the kit yourself, basically.
Yes. You bring it up. It's not a jigsaw, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to put it together.
But it's not as straightforward as people think, because you're getting the chassis and everything else, you're getting all the clips to put that together, and then with the body and everything else, then you've got to put the seats in and everything else.
You've got to obviously sort out what interior you want, because you can buy that through Tornado.
Yeah.
Not Tornado, AK.
Okay, yeah.
But it was expensive.
Yeah.
I thought it was expensive for what it was. It was nice, like this, leather, you know, but it was like $4,500 for the interior. And the interior is about as big as a matchbox.
Yeah.
There's nothing of it. So I kept on looking, and I saw an advert on eBay for Cobra seats. So I'd followed it up, and it turned out to be a guy called Ashley, in Nottingham. Well, he used to actually do all the interiors for AK.
Right.
So I spoke to him, and he said he could do it for me a lot cheaper. I think it was about 1,700 quid in all. Totally different, and to the same standard.
Yeah.
So I sent him off the fiberglass chassis, dashboard.
Yeah.
I'd cut all the holes and all the rest of it for it. We sorted out design of where we were going to do it. So I sent the dashboard off to him, which he then made the cover and covered it for me, stuck it all on. So that when I went up to collect everything, seats, he makes all the seat frames, everything. When I went up to collect all that, I got the dash at the same time. So we had it all.
Nice.
So again, once I got it home, set to fit in all that. I think the only major problem I had with building the car was with the loom. There was a break in a wire in the loom, and I had to try and find that.
Cool.
And it was a bit of a nightmare, so I called in an auto electrician, and he traced it all in the end. Rather than testing, his idea was to pull the wires. So if you've got a broken wire, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
And this one wire he tried, out it came. It had broken in half, split in half. So I got in touch with AK. They sent me a new loom. I sent them the old one back, which was perfect. From then on, I got it all done, got it all wired. General, as you're going along, obviously you're building bits and pieces, you're doing bits on it. I got the monster brake kit with its 6-pot calipers for the front and 4 pots for the back. You also got the discs, massive discs.
Yeah, that would have been.
Alloys, the alloys, they said like what size you're going to have, so they know what disc you're going to have. So I got Image, who make all the wheels and such, like Compomotive rims and stuff, all that. Got them. They arrived, rims and tyres mounted. So they went straight on. It was a very straightforward build. You know, very straightforward. If I had a problem, I just phoned up AK, John at AK.
Yeah.
And the guy was marvellous.
Yeah,
You know, just tell you straight over the phone what the problem would
What
be,
to do.
how to get over it, how to get round it. I don't think I ever got in touch with him for him to say to me, I don't know what that could be.
Yeah,
It was always,
straight away.
yeah, that will be such and such, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I also got in touch with him to say, like, in the loom, there's no wiring for the electric power steering. So what do? Oh, you buy this relay, you get these wires, you take that wire to this number on the relay, and it was amazing. You know, it's just a matter of following what he said, which he actually sent it to me in writing on an email. All the relays are numbered, all the parts, the tangs on the relays are numbered.
Amazing.
So just take this wire from this number to the alternator, this wire on this number to this. And it was brilliant, just amazing.
You've got to have a fair bit of knowledge though.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, you can't just all of a sudden just go.
No, I mean, Joe Public, it's daunting whoever's going to do it, obviously. And a lot of people say to me, like if you're at a show, and they say, did you build it? And I say, yeah. How on earth do you do it? I wouldn't know where to start. Well, you start at the chassis, the base. You've got to start at the base and then you build up from there. And the car comes from the chassis, you know. Can take time. A lot of people don't ever complete kit cars.
No.
You know, a lot of people advertise them because they can't do it. Financial reasons, or they just can't do it.
Yeah.
Lose interest. But cars has been a passion of mine since I was a kid. Always has been. Same as Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had more cars than I've ever had.
Yeah.
And he's half my age.
Yeah, bless
You know, but yeah, we took once that was ready, the Cobra was ready. I then got in touch with DVLA to get that IVA tested, not SVA as the first one.
Yeah.
Individual vehicle approval.
Yeah.
But I had to take it to Norwich, so it's not round the corner.
No.
So I wasn't going to drive it.
No.
So I got a guy local with a transporter to take us up there. We went up there again, as in my first one. This one failed on exhaust noise, speedo, but also the emissions on this one, because emissions now come into it.
With the speedo and all that, is that all to do with the turning of the wheels and everything else?
It is. There's a pickup point on the rear diff.
Right.
You know, where you've got the flange from the diff to the prop shaft, you've got 4 bolts go through.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to make up a bracket with this sensor that goes to these bolts, and as the bolt goes past it, so it triggers it each time. And in the speedo itself, you've got a little lead that comes off of a button, and you have to press this so many times to get a reading up that you want.
Yeah.
Then you've got to, once you get the reading you want, you've got to you've got to double press it quickly to stay on that. Then you can put a number in of the revolutions of the wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, I got in touch with AK and he told me the numbers I needed, rather than me trying to work it out. So I put the numbers in, we took it back for its second IVA, 6 months later, and it failed again, passed the speedo straight away,
Yeah.
failed on noise from the exhaust pipes. That was it, noise from the exhaust pipes. Emissions were great, was fine, because I got them sorted out. So on the way home, I phoned AK, I said, these exhaust pipes are supposed to be IVA friendly. Why ain't mine passing?
Yeah.
So he was asking me loads of questions. So when they do the sound test on the exhaust, they have a microphone a metre away from the tailpipe.
Yeah.
And you have to rev the engine to a figure that they've been told that they work out. Well, when he was doing mine, he was making me rev it at 4,500, which is quite high.
Yeah.
But they're the people that know, so I went along with all that. And he said to me, what did he make you rev it at? John at AK said to me this. I said, 4,500. No, he said, because they did all the paperwork for me, AK. Should have been 2,500, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
So he said, I'll phone them. and tell them. So he phoned them and spoke to them, and they apologised. Why it happened, I don't know. But they then got in touch with me and said they've redone the booking to take it back.
Yeah.
So again, we went up on the low loader, got there. I think we got there about 10 o'clock. By 10:30, we were back on the trailer on our way home with a pass ticket, which was amazing. Amazing. And I'd stuffed these copper scouring pads and things that you use for washing up and stuff, them all up the exhaust pipe to try and quieten it down, you know. And it turned out just the fact that they were making me rev it too high.
Yeah.
So it was their problem,
yeah,
but my problem as well, because I couldn't get the car registered. So I got it home, and then I got it painted by a company in Clacton. I think it's Clacton Car Panels, Repair and Panels, something like that. I can't think of the name. I'll give it to you properly in a minute. They had it for 2 months. I had to strip it all down again, take everything out the inside, windscreen out, lights all off, you name it. I had to take it all back to normal, back to bare stuff. When I went and picked it up, I was just over the moon with it, absolutely over the moon with it. And Lee got his car painted at the same place as well.
Yeah, that's his Willis, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they had mine for 2 months, they had Lee's for 3 months.
Right.
And they did a lot of work on it. And you can tell that just by looking at it.
Well, yeah, but they're glossy, isn't it? Proper
just
work,
looking at it, I mean, once he'd done it, he did it 2 years ago now, he painted it.
Yeah.
And he said to me, as I left him, when you're done rebuilding everything back to it, bring it back and we'll give it its final polish. So I thought, great. And I never did bother taking it back.
No.
I used to just go over it with a microfiber cloth and it would just shine.
Shine, yeah.
You know. And we did a show, Lee and I did a show early part last year. And for some reason I got a 6-8 inch scratch along the back wing. I don't know how it got there, I really don't. So I took it back to Martin at the paint shop and he said, bring it back for its final polish. He said, we'll buff that out. Which they did. And it's just a work of art, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Incredible, yeah.
Because it's painted with a base coat silver, but it's a coarse finish. It's not smooth.
No.
And the idea of the coarse finish is when you put your candy paint over it, you only put a couple of coats over it, and when the sun hits that and goes through the paint to the coarse base, it twinkles because of all the different angles of the coarseness. And when that's out in the sun, it's just sitting there twinkling.
Twinkling away,
beautiful.
yeah.
Absolutely
Lovely.
beautiful.
Nice pictures as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll show it to you once we're done.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you've done a bit of drag racing as well.
I did it with Lee. Lee did the drag
Lee,
racing.
yeah.
I was part of the crew.
Yeah.
When he first did his pop,
Yeah.
he had a 1300 horsepower supercharged injected V8 in that small block Chevy. And I remember the first run, Chris Isaacs, as I say, did all the work for him.
Yeah.
And he did his first run down the pod, and we were all watching with bated breath. And he got half track and it started squirreling. And it ended up going up on two wheels on the side.
Yeah.
And then continued on. And then when we got it back, Chris was standing in the pits with 2 big spanners,
Yeah.
going to adjust the 4-bar setup on the back.
Right.
So he did that, and then Lee did another run later in the day, and it was straight as a die.
Straight as a die,
Straight
yeah.
as a die. Took him a few runs, few meets to get his confidence with the car. And he was running some good times. I think he ran an 8.6. I think it was 8.6 at the Popper Shoots.
Yeah.
Which he said was just amazing.
It's what you call pulling G, isn't it?
Yeah. He said when they pop open, he said you can feel the speed scrub off immediately.
Yeah,
you know. He said you get a big pop when it opens up as well behind you if you can hear it. So that was his start into drag racing.
Yeah.
And he really got into it quite strong. And as I say, we were away at this time. This one race meeting he did down there, I think it was Bug Jam. I think it was the Bug Jam. And the steering joint broke at the end of the strip. and it rolled. And it rolled and slid down the track on its roof.
On the roof, yeah.
And he said all he could see was sparks. And when it stopped, he was hanging upside down, and he had to drop out. And from what I understand and what he was telling me, he got out of the car, and he had like 2 10p piece size bruises on his knees. That's all he had.
That's it.
So he had
Good build. Well, Chris has always built good cars, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, again, Chris knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You've got a Chris car underneath you, you know you're safe.
Yeah.
You know, so damaged all the roll bars, wore through the roll bars, so we had to go back to Chris to have the chassis checked and done, and new roll bars fitted, cut in, and mount this other body shell that this guy gave him. And then he had to get it all painted up again as the devil, as it was, in a purple colour with the flames. But as I say, once he'd built it, he said he couldn't drive it. He didn't have confidence to drive it anymore.
No.
Because like short wheelbase, the back wheels are always trying to overtake the front wheels, aren't they?
Yeah.
So he then went for Ray White's Zephyr,
Incredible.
which was again a work of art, perfect. I don't know if you remember seeing the old picture of Ray when he dropped the clutch a bit too hard.
No.
He had all 4 wheels off the ground in the air, and that was a major picture. But when Lee got it, it was all black. The car was all black. And Lee then won a competition with Custom Car for a £6,000 paint job for it. So he had it done exactly the same as the Pop.
As the Pop, yeah.
The Devil.
The Devil, yeah.
And that's how it still is now.
Mm.
I can't think of the woman's name who's got it now.
No, I can't remember now.
Can't think of her name. I was looking, it was on Facebook yesterday, funny enough. But can't think of it.
Yeah.
So I suppose I got my kicks from being in the crew, being there,
Yeah.
all the noise, the smells,
Yeah.
the atmosphere. It's just electric.
It is, you know, drag racing is like any sport, isn't it? It's, how can you put it? It's a family.
Yeah,
Everyone helps each other out.
absolutely.
And that, but it is a very expensive game as well.
Far too expensive, especially for not getting anything from the, you know, when you're running.
Yeah.
You don't get paid to appear, appearance money, that sort of thing, which I think is wrong.
Mm.
I think they should give them something,
Yeah.
even if it's free electric, you know, off their electricity, because you're there to support the sport
And the venue.
and attract people to go there. You get hundreds of thousands of people there,
Yeah.
so why can't the drivers get a little bit from it? That's
Yeah.
what that's my
I suppose. It's been a few years since I've been there, but if you win an event or whatever, first and second or whatever,
Yeah.
then you get some sort of win
You,
bonus.
you get something, but it's very minimal.
Yeah.
You know, and you think about a race weekend, like for instance, if we would get down there, a bank holiday meeting, 4-day meet, he'd have to be there for 5 days
Yeah, yeah,
because you've got to go through scrutineering, you've got to get
Yeah.
set up. So
Yeah.
he's losing 5 days' money.
yeah,
Well, obviously, not all the time because you've got weekends involved
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
Mm.
But it's costing him money all the time.
yeah, yeah,
On average, we would do a 4-day weekend. It cost him £800,
yeah.
which is not a little amount.
Well, no, and then when you're talking to someone like with Tony Betts, £6,000, running
Absolutely.
a car and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so-
I mean, Lee was doing it as a hobby.
yeah,
I know Tony's the same sort of thing, but Tony's obviously in a different league with the cars he has and
Yeah,
runs. And yeah, the expense must be astronomical. You know,
Yeah.
the cost of parts, you've got to rebuild it after every run.
yeah,
We didn't have to do that
no,
unless we had a problem.
yeah,
We were lucky in that way. We had a couple of small sponsors. Tony's got more, obviously. More sponsors. All the big guys have got to have sponsors,
oh yeah,
you know, because not everybody's wealthy.
no,
You know, obviously you've got to have a few quid to do it, otherwise
yeah.
you wouldn't be able to do it. As simple
No.
as that.
no,
But Lee would do it just for the pure buzz.
and adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know,
yeah,
or
yeah.
he said to me, it's not for me, Daddy said, it's not about winning, as the old saying goes. It's partaking in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you fire that car up, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You know,
Yeah.
and he runs down the fire up lane, goes down the bottom, and you're waiting for him to come round, and you're in the pits, the start line with him, and you're checking the chutes, and does a burnout, and he comes back. It's just fabulous.
Great.
You know, being down there on that line,
Yeah.
and which really surprised me more than anything was when I tried to move, I couldn't. My feet were stuck to the
tarmac.
track,
Yeah.
you know. And I just couldn't believe that. Yeah, you know, you could give it all that sort of game, walking like you've got broken legs.
Mm.
And then he blasts off down the strip, and you think to yourself, fabulous, you know, great. I think he did a lot of it because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to do things like that. Luckily, Lee was in a different situation to me.
Yeah.
Lee didn't give a monkeys. He spent all his wages on his cars.
Yeah.
You know, when he was a kid, he'd come home on Friday with his paycheck. By Saturday, he'd skin
Yeah.
because he'd bought another car or done this, and that's how he went along. But obviously, he's got more savvy,
Yeah.
which you've got to do it because you can spend a fortune on these things.
Yeah, definitely.
You could just buy this part and you think, oh no, it's not good enough, and you can buy another part which is twice as expensive. It's just, it is a rich man's sport.
Definitely.
Rich man's sport, but thousands, millions of people love it,
Yeah.
which is the big thing.
Yeah. Before we sort of close,
Yeah.
are you looking to build something else now?
I did think about doing a,
Porsche, was it?
and I'm looking at, when I sell this one, now I've decided, when I sell this one, I might buy a Porsche.
Right.
Not a kit, but a
Porsche.
But before I decided on that, I did think about doing a Cobra Shelby Daytona.
Right, okay.
But the only place I know I can get one from is from a company in America, Factory 5 Racing.
Right.
Because I looked into it before I bought this one. And the transport costs were just astronomical.
Incredible, yeah.
To get from the States to here was like £4.5, £5. Well, the way I looked at it was that £4.5, £5 would buy me an engine,
Yeah.
would buy me wheels, would
Yeah.
pay for a paint job.
Yeah.
That's just thrown away gas money.
Yeah.
You get nothing for it,
No.
apart from the car, obviously. But there's a company over here now that are importing them over,
Right.
but you still have to pay that
Import. Yeah.
So that's put me off of doing it now.
Yeah.
This is why I'm thinking about maybe go for something like a Porsche.
What sort of Porsche would you get?
Possibly a late Boxster
Right.
or a Cayman.
Oh, yeah.
Probably go more for the Cayman.
So you're looking at sort of early 80s, that sort of design.
Well, with the late Boxsters, I'm looking probably 2015, 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Because the back of them have changed,
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, our dynamics have all changed
Yeah.
now as well, haven't
And as I say, the Cayman is a hard top,
they? Yeah.
which with my Cobra, I've got no roof for it.
Yeah.
So I can only use that in good weather.
Yeah.
If I was to go for a Cayman or a Boxer, because they've got an automatic roof,
Yeah.
I can use it in any weather.
In any weather, yeah.
And it's still a car I've always really fancied having.
And whether you put something else into it rather than standard?
No, I think I would probably leave it as standard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 75 now, retired, so I've got no income other than the pension.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, with the Cobra, if I needed a bit of something extra to buy something, I'd go and do a job.
Yeah.
You know, help pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that now.
No.
So once I sell the Cobra, obviously I'll have money,
Yeah.
but I can't spend that all on another car.
No.
Can't do that.
No.
Again, I've got to top up the pension pot a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So whatever I've got is what I've got.
Yeah.
So if, say for instance I come out with 20 grand and the Cayman is 18.
Yeah.
Well, I've got £2,000 to play with, which I keep for paying for insurance, road tax. I can't really afford to go altering things.
No.
Because with a Porsche, nothing's cheap.
No.
Nothing's cheap.
No.
And you've got to get the right one, otherwise you could end up with a money pit.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so you've got to look around and see what's there.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's just a matter of when I decide to sell the Cobra, which might be next year actually, as the plans go, and we see what comes from that.
Definitely.
Really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What an amazing guy.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It's just, it's a hobby.
It's a love.
Yeah.
It's always been a love of mine. I love cars. And if you look at these cars, you think the shapes, the smoothness, the curves, the shape, the colours. You don't get that with an everyday car.
That's a joy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and if I'm in the garage and it's a nice day outside, I think, oh, I'll get the car out and I'll just give it a wipe down with a nice microfiber cloth so it won't scratch or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And as I said to you earlier, if it's out there on a sunny day and I'm doing that, it's twinkling, you know, and I step back and I think to myself, I built that.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, and it's lovely.
Mm.
I'm so pleased with this one. The paint finish, again, is top notch.
Top notch, yeah.
Top notch.
It is amazing. Yeah.
It really is a beautiful looking car.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously I have a lot of people when we're at shows compliment me.
It's been in the magazine now.
The magazine, the write-up in the magazine, yeah. I just love them.
Fantastic.
Just love them.
A little job for you,
Yeah.
should you choose to accept, is to talk Lee into having a chat with me.
I will do my best to get Lee to have a chat with you about the Willis, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And obviously he's drag racing.
Yeah, definitely.
So he'll be worth listening to.
He would be, wouldn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he would.
So tell him, Nige said.
Nige said you've got to grow up, be a strong boy and tell him all about your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's been through a lot. He's done a lot. The Willis, you know, the work he's put into that.
Incredible, isn't it?
And when we were doing it, like there was we were doing the doors on it, and it was been painted, and the paint job cost him a fortune. But when he just wanted these garnishes to go around the inner window.
I remember that, yeah.
And when he put them on, at the bottom, where the door came up to the bottom of the garnish, there was a gap, little gap. So the door went along like that. And he actually, even though it had been painted, cut that door. He got a tool out, he cut that door so that would look perfect.
Yeah.
And we put wedges in it to straighten it out, to line it up with the garnish.
Yeah.
You know, and when we've got this machine going and on this paint job, and I'm thinking to myself, God's sake, Lee, don't slip.
Yeah.
And we did that, and then when you put the garnish on, you can't see where it's been cut, obviously.
No.
It's going back in again now, because when he had to cut the bonnet in different places to make it fit and equal both sides, he is a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Now, as the bodywork has settled, you've got some of these very faint little lines on the bonnet at the back.
Yeah.
That's now going to go back to the paint shop to be stripped and repainted.
Amazing.
Because he would not leave it like that.
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, and that's how Lee gets his cars the way he does.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
You know.
Superb, yeah.
And as I say, the Willis is a credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really is. The guys that have done work on it, the guy that did the interior is just amazing.
Yeah.
Because all the interiors are cream leather.
Yeah.
The boot's the same.
Yeah.
When the boot opens up, you press a button, the boot opens up on Rams, and it's all leather lined and all the rest of it. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's sat and he's thought about everything he's put into that car.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice.
Yeah, and the chassis painted the same colour as the body shell.
Yeah.
When we took it to the paint shop, we took the body off, lifted it up so they could paint the underneath of the body to match the chassis. All the steering joints and such like suspension arms, you had them all chromed. So again, you know, you lift up that bonnet and you look in there, it's just stunning.
I know he works very hard, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah,
He puts his heart and soul into it.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, it's been
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
And we'll get it out there for you. And then obviously now you've put a little bit of a thing out there now where you might sell your
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So wish you all the best. We'll catch up again in the future and see how you're getting on and what have you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel.
Cheers. All
Thank
the
you.
best. Thank you.
I'll drink my cup of tea now.
Yeah, yeah.